Meet Billy CHEMIRMIR. He's an illegal alien serial killer who is suspected of murdering at least 23 women in the Dallas, Texas area. If a zero-tolerance policy existed for illegal immigrants who had been arrested, especially for violent crimes, CHEMIRMIR would have been deported back to his native Kenya long before he had a chance to murder these poor old women. He had violently attacked his girlfriend. He had been arrested for trespassing. He'd even been arrested for DUI. This is the story of the little-known serial killer, Billy CHEMIRMIR.
According to police reports, Mary Bartell told them a stranger forced his way in, grabbed a couch pillow, and smothered her until she blacked out. Then he walked out with her jewelry. Just one day earlier and one door over, Mary's next-door neighbor, Ann Conklin, had died. Plano police suddenly started taking a closer look and discovered a pattern of deaths in their Preston Place senior living community. There were 7 within a 6-month period, all with missing jewelry. A week before Bartell's attack, a neighbor happened to notice a silver Nissan Altima that seemed out of place. He jotted down its license plate, and when police started asking questions, he passed it along. Investigators found it was owned by a man named Billy CHEMIRMIR.
A Kenyan-born immigrant, he held a series of short-term home health aid jobs during his 15 years plus as a legal permanent resident in the United States. He was comfortable around older people. His father lived to be 100, and he had years of experience caring for older, fragile people in private homes and upscale apartments. After working through healthcare agencies, he grew tired of paying commissions and began recruiting his own clients. When first questioned by the Dallas County homicide detective in March 2018, CHEMIRMIR explained his presence at crime scenes by insisting he was simply soliciting healthcare work. Yet before his 2018 arrest, CHEMIRMIR was known to Dallas police as a small-time criminal with prior arrests and stints in jail for domestic assault, drunken driving, and trespassing. In the domestic assault case, he'd been convicted after admitting to beating an ex-girlfriend with a frying pan following a night of drinking at a Dallas club. CHEMIRMIR used a fake ID with the name Benjamin Koitoba, which allowed him to work at Dallas Home Health Agency that required a background check he could not have passed under his real name. That company communicated with him only as Koitoba, and CHEMIRMIR frequently took short nighttime assignments. From 2016 to 2018, records show CHEMIRMIR roamed the hallways and parking lots of at least 3 upscale senior living complexes where sudden deaths occurred. He was repeatedly stopped and questioned as an intruder, but left free to continue. We believe one of his techniques was looking for women who walked their dogs or used walkers and needed extra time coming in their doors.
In 2016, CHEMIRMIR had been caught twice at the Edgemere Senior Living Apartments in Dallas using a fake name and falsely claiming to be an employee. Police now believe by the time he was stopped and charged with trespassing there, he'd already killed 3 women in that complex: Catherine Sinclair, Phyllis Payne, and Phoebe Perry. The next 8 murders he's linked to started the following month at the Tradition Prestonwood Senior Living Facility. And Doris Gleason, Shannon Dion's mother.
Do you think someone else should have pieced this together?
I wish they had.
The next murder CHEMIRMIR is accused of occurred more than a year later in 2017 at the Parkview Apartments in Frisco.
The feeling was so horrible.
Cheryl Pangburn discovered her mother, Marilyn Bixler.
Her body was perfectly positioned between the couch and the coffee table.
1 month later, a 93-year-old at the complex reported a well-dressed man posing as a maintenance worker had asked her if she needed work done. When she said no, he knocked her from her walker and tried to muffle her screams and smother her with a pillow. But she survived and would months later pick CHEMIRMIR out of a photo lineup. After that came the string of fatal attacks at Preston Place and occasionally the murder of an elderly woman in her own home. Once police started looking at CHEMIRMIR, though, the pieces began coming together.
Accused Texas serial killer given green card after overstaying visa. Foreign national charged with murdering 12 elderly women overstayed his visa was never given and was never deported, but managed to obtain a green card and legal immigration status. As Breitbart News reported, 46-year-old Billy CHEMIRMIR, born in Kenya, had been living in Dallas, Texas when he was originally charged in the March 2018 with murdering 81-year-old Lou Ty Harris. This month, however, CHEMIRMIR was charged with murdering 11 other elderly women all between the ages of 76 to 94 years old. The Kenyan national worked as a home health care worker and was a home aide to many of the women. Breitbart News exclusively reported that CHEMIRMIR first arrived in the U.S. on a B-2 tourist visa in July 2003. Though CHEMIRMIR was supposed to only temporarily be in the U.S., he overstayed his visa and became an illegal alien who was eligible for deportation. Rather than being deported, CHEMIRMIR was able to use the nation's legal immigration system, allowing him to obtain a green card after marrying an American citizen. In November 2007, CHEMIRMIR was approved for a green card and obtained legal permanent resident status. A law enforcement source also said the accused serial killer has a criminal record, including convictions for drunk driving, trespassing, assault, and obstructing a police officer. CHEMIRMIR is formally charged with a string of murders of elderly women across the region, but police have said there could be more victims. Currently, investigators are looking into about 750 deaths of elderly women in the area. These are the 23 victims of illegal alien and serial killer Billy CHEMIRMIR from Kenya. These ladies could have been my grandmother. Top from left, Catherine Sinclair, 87, Phyllis Payne, 91, Phoebe Perry, 94, Joyce Abramitz, 82. Middle row, Juanita Purdy, 83. Leah Corkin, 83. Margaret White, 87. Solomon Spring, 89. Bottom row, Norma Frent, 85. Glenna Day, 87. Doris Gleason, 92. Top row, Marilyn Bixler, 90. Kay Lawson, 93. Minnie Campbell, 84. Diane Delahunty, 79. Bottom row, Doris Wasserman, 90. Caroline McAfee, 81. Not pictured, Helen Lee, 82. And Mamie Del Maya, 93. Top row from left, Rosemary Curtis, 76. Martha Williams, 80. Miriam Nelson, 81. Ann Conklin, 82. Bottom row, Mary Bartell, 91. Lucy Harris, 81. Not pictured, Mary Sue Brooks, 87.
A suspected serial killer has now found the same fate as his victims. Texas Department of Criminal Justice confirming that Billy CHEMIRMIR was found murdered this morning in his prison cell at the Caulfield unit just south of Dallas. Andrea Lucia has been following this story from the very beginning and took time today to speak to some of the victims' families.
The victim's families got a call early this morning from TDCJ with the news. The department says Billy CHEMIRMIR was murdered by his cellmate, a fellow convicted killer.
I'm still processing. It's shocking, but there is a relief that this part of my nightmare, our nightmare, is over.
It's been more than 7 years since the murders began. The victims, nearly all women over the age of 65, were smothered in their homes and robbed of jewelry. CHEMIRMIR was indicted in 20 capital murders, convicted of 2, and began serving a life sentence last year in the Caulfield unit 2 hours southeast of Dallas. It's there, the state says, he was killed.
This was a huge surprise to all of us. I don't know if I'm happy or sad.
There's been a whole series of emotions today, I think, from cheering to crying to is this good, is this bad, is it, there's just been a huge realm of emotions today.
Details of CHEMIRMIR's death have yet to be released. Some of the families who lost loved ones, though, say it's brought some form of justice.
My mother died in fear. This man did not have a peaceful passing. There is some relief in feeling that he didn't get off easily.
The irony, they say, is that if CHEMIRMIR had been sentenced to death, as some of them wished, he would likely still be alive.
He would have had his own cell. Right. This would not have happened.
Billy CHEMIRMIR, what do you know? What happened?
Well, I was called early this morning from TDCJ, and my understanding is that he got into an argument of some sort, said something inappropriate to his cellmate, and the cellmate killed him, beat him to death.
Beat him to death? Wasn't stabbed or?
Well, maybe stabbed with a pen, but not a knife, perhaps. But even though they're on lockdown, apparently he somehow opened the door and dragged him into the hallway, and there were other prisoners who saw it, and nobody intervened or nobody called for help. And basically he was there for about 15 or 20 minutes before anybody of authority could figure out that what had happened, and he was there, and they tried to revive him, and he died.